There will always be an opportunity, even in 100 years' time. But the question is, will you be alive in 100 years? Investment is not a comfort activity. It's an intentional and a strategic activity. Nobody invests from comfort. You enjoy from comfort. Present period is a period where people what? Take advantage. Do you know you don't need money to invest? If you decide to position yourself where the money flows, where the river flows, that's the bank of the river, you will have something to fetch for yourself. Amani is that project that gives you peace as an investor. Amani is also that project that gives you peace as someone who wants to build, live with your family. Amani is also that project that gives you peace if you want to flip. But then one interesting thing, why this all sums up to be an excellent opportunity, and if you ask me, I will tell you Amani is a gold mine. It's a gold mine. You know why? If you've heard, and even if you haven't heard, after you hear this now, Google Abuja City Walk or City Walk Abuja.
Who would you say this property is really for? Is it for people who want to build or who want to resell or who just want to keep it?
How can you explain to an average man what an FCDC of O means?
Give us a little bit of insight into the Amani Envoy project, the plots that are available, and what kind of structures are people expecting to get in different plots?
Some locations in Abuja are getting flooded, like Utako, Katape, yesterday and Saturday. Some parts of them were flooded. What provisions are you making for it, for water and for nature? Because most developers do not make provision for nature. They will buy a hill, tear it down. Hello everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Show, and on today's segment we'll be discussing Amani Envoy by Omec Properties. And on this segment we have the MD and CEO of Omec Properties with us on this segment, in person of Mr. Michael Ofiwe. Clap your hands, drum rolls. Okay, so based on the Abuja plan and structure, what makes an imagined location interesting?
Okay, so thank you, Ariwarioto, and thank you, Mr. Victor and Mr. Collins.
It's nice to have you.
And our viewers, welcome to the Real Estate Show. So Abuja is an interesting place to live in, to invest in. And for we who operate in the real estate space, we must be abreast with progress and development. And if you've heard of something called the Abuja Master Plan before, you will know that before the construction of this city called Abuja, or this federal capital called the FCT, certain people sat down to design a master plan. And if you have that master plan, or you have an idea, or you know someone that has that master plan, then you can make the right decision. You can be on the right track. So Abuja has a master plan. And that is why development in Abuja, investment in Abuja has been progressive. If you notice, you keep hearing new areas opening up. You keep hearing that this is the place that is emerging, or this is phase 1, this is phase 2, this is phase 3. So it just tells you that there is a master plan, there is a playbook.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you notice, places like Maitama, Asokoro, Gariki, Wuse, those are like the old Abuja. Yeah, they are like the old Abuja. They are already developed. They are like the heart of town. When somebody wants to describe heart of town in Abuja, those are the places they mention. Central area, a central business district, Wuse, Maitama, Asokoro, and Gariki. However, there are places that are emerging. And this brings us to the developmental phases in Abuja. Now, I will show you the map. If you look at the screen now, you'll see this place. Now, what you see here is what? FCC overview. FCC means Federal Capital City overview. So within the Federal Capital Territory, there are 6 area councils, and there is the Federal Capital City. The Federal Capital City is that place in FCC that has been designed to be the city of the territory. So if you look at this map now, you will see that there are phases. You have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And remember, I mentioned Maitama, Wuse, Central Area, Asokoro, Gariki, Guzape. These ones fall under what? Under the phase 1. And if you notice, these are the most developed areas in Abuja or in FCT. And you can also say they are the most expensive areas in Abuja and in FCT, because development leads to increase in value. The more a place develops, the more valuable it becomes. Interestingly, 20, 30 years ago, these were the emerging areas. When they were thinking of moving the capital territory down to Abuja, these were like the emerging areas. But today, plots of land or properties here are extremely premium. In fact, to find a plot of land here, you have to search. And when you search and find, you will have to go and verify why it is empty. Because there could be a reason why it is empty. Very unlikely will you find. So you now see that there is phase 2. The phase 2, we have the popular Jahi, Katampe, Kado, Mabushi. If you've lived in Abuja, you realize that this place have close proximity to the city center, in quotes, to the phase 1. Otako is close to Wuse. Wuye is close to Wuse. This is Kokwaba, close to Central area. Durumi, very popular area, close to Gariki. Kaura, Gudu, Gadua. These are the phase 2. 10, 15 years ago, these are like the emerging areas. 10, 15, 20 years, these are like the emerging areas. Then we have phase 3 too. Phase 3, you have the Gwarimpa that we know. You have Galadimawa, Lokogoma, Piankasa. Then you have the industrial areas, Mbora, Karimo. This Dape that you're seeing is the life camp that you know today. So you see some names in Abuja also evolve based on certain events and occasions. By the time you go back to the map, you see the actual name of those places. So Dape that you see on this map is the life camp that you know today. Then that's phase 3. So for those who are strategic with investments, you should allow this map guide you. Because for those who study geography in our schools those days, what's the idea? What's the purpose of a map? It's for direction. A map allows you to know where you are and allows you to know the direction of where you are going to. It gives you a sense of position. It gives you a sense of direction. And for someone who wants to go from here to Lagos or from here to Dubai, the person who has a map would achieve or reach that destination faster and better and easier than the person without a map. Even those who fly, our pilots today, our sailors, they cannot function without maps. Without maps. So with a map of the Federal Capital City, you should be able to know, either as an investor, whether you are in Nigeria or you are abroad. If you're an operator in the industry, as a developer, or you're a realtor, or you're just someone who wants to invest in the next best place, you should allow this map guide you. If you don't have the map, then you should allow those that have the map, like Omec Properties, guide you, because we know where the city is going, and we're already there. So back to your question, if you notice from what I've just explained, every time there's an emerging place, every time there is an emerging place. 20 years ago, there was an emerging place. Today, there are still emerging places. In 10 years' time, the places we call emerging places today would have been highly developed cities. But guess what? There will still be emerging places. So, as of today now, you look at phase 4. Phase 4 now is what gives you a good picture of the highly investable emerging places in FCT, in Abuja, as of today. Now, what are the areas you see here? By this side, you see what? Keti North, you see Shereti, Cheche, Waru, Keti East, and the rest of them. Pafun, Bude, Gwari. This name may not sound as the highbrow premium areas today. But let's come back to this same map in 10 years' time. You'll be hearing that University of this is in Bude West.
Wow.
The best hospital is in Keti. The biggest school, the best estate is in Shereti. So because information guides strategic investment and investors. On this other axis, you have the Krasana. Krasana is already opening up.
Yes.
If you pay attention to what's happening in Abuja in the last few months and the last few years, you will know that indeed they are actually following this master plan and this Federal Capital City Guide. Because Krasana is opening up. Krasana East, Krasana South, Krasana North, West, Kaba, Gwagwa, Tasha, Idu. All these places are already known. They are opening up.
Yeah.
So it is not my opinion anymore. With this, you can be convinced that these are the emerging places. And anybody who is investing, who is thinking of investing, should by all means, lock in on projects that are coming up in this location as of today. Because, like I said, emerging places today will not be emerging places tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so the Omec Amani Envoy is located in Shereti.
Yeah, Charity.
Yes. Based on the plan and the map you just showed us, which you answered very well, can you tell us more about the government development and what is happening in Shereti that makes it a good place to invest in? What makes it special at this point in time? And I noticed that Kubwa is not on this map. Is it not part of Abuja?
Oh, thank you. Let me start with the second question. Like I said, there is the FCT map for the general idea of how FCT is. Then you now have the area councils, which are the 6 area councils. I won't delve into that today. But I'm showing you the federal capital city. Kubwa is not part of the federal capital city.
When I don't hear you.
It's not part of the federal capital. Based on the plan, it is not part. Gwagwalada is not part of the federal capital city. So there is a city within the capital territory. So, and that is what should inform strategic investors. For you to know that even within the territory, and also within the council, the AMAC, Abuja Municipal Area Council, there is a city. There are places that are captured in the Abuja Municipal Area Council that are not part of the federal capital city. They are not part of it. Lugbe is not part of the federal capital city. It is not part of it. So you see that strategically, there are some places here that are not known, but in the future may be more valuable
Than the places that are known at the moment.
than the places that you know at the moment. So back to the first question. Shereti, look at where Shereti is. In fact, if there is the early birds in the emerging areas, Shereti is part of the early birds.
Yeah.
Look at the phase 4. Shereti is one of those districts that is closest, that borders the phase 3. So what that means is that if there are early birds or quick wins for investors, Shereti is one of those quick wins. And we have our project called the Amani Envoy, situated or located at Charity. And you asked the question, but what makes that place unique? The reason that place is unique is because government's attention is already there. Not just government's attention, government's presence is already there. Government's presence is already there. And how do you know when government presence is there? Allocation, the quality of the title documents. Most of the projects at Charity now, I wouldn't want to say all, but particularly our own project there, the Omec Amani Envoy, has the highest title that any land document can have, which is the what? The C of O document. Of course, before you get C of O, you must have the R of O before you now get your C of O. So it has the highest title. Secondly, infrastructure is already there. Our plot, the Omec Amani Envoy, is situated at the first plot of a tarred road, mintly tarred road. By mintly, there are roads that are potholes, you have potholes, you have, no. Mintly, those kind of roads that you can sleep on. Nylon tarred road. If rain falls on that road today, you can see your reflection. Mintly tarred road. So that's infrastructure already. That's presence of government. And of course, with infrastructure, it attracts and it guarantees security. And that is why we adopted the name Amani. Amani means peace. It means safety. It means you can trust us. So Omec Amani Envoy is a place not just for investors who are investing in the future, but those who want to invest in today. Those who want a place that will guarantee them and give them peace. Peace of mind to live, peace of mind to invest. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful information. So my question here is, who would you say this property is really for? Is it for people who want to build or who want to resell or who just want to keep it? So who do you think this Omec Amani Envoy, who have you brought the project about? Is it people who want to build immediately or people who just want to buy and keep, or people who see it as an investment opportunity to grow wealth?
Thank you for that amazing question. And you see, that's the beauty of real estate. Real estate is dynamic. One project, one property, one location can give you diverse and various opportunities. Amani Envoy is like an all-in-one. Mm-hmm. So it gives you peace as someone who wants to build. Because of the location and the infrastructure and the accessibility, if you want to build to live, perfect place for you. Excellent place for you. As a matter of fact, let me not tell you that I will build and live there, but excellent place for you. So if you want to live in Abuja or you have any plan, maybe you are somewhere in one of the states within the country or you're abroad, and you're thinking, where can I move to in Abuja? Of course, the phase one are there, but you may need to scratch out a few billions. But if you're looking for a margin place where you have real value for money and return on investment, and you want to live there, Omec Amani is the perfect place for you because you can invest today, build tomorrow, and live there tomorrow. By tomorrow, I don't mean 24 hours time. But by this time next year, if you build your house within 3 to 6 months, you should be living in your house. Now, for those who want to buy as investment, excellent opportunity because we also have off plans. And even beyond that, any property you buy today in an emerging place only goes upwards. As a matter of fact, real estate universally goes up. Scarcely, almost impossible, like gold, to go down. But then, in terms of pace of appreciation, speed of appreciation, and return of investment, a place like Omec Amani Envoy gives you that guarantee that you are buying at the barest minimum price You are entering into the market at the entry price. So you are guaranteed of an upward appreciation and value. So if you want to invest, you have peace of mind. Amani is that project that gives you peace as an investor. Amani is also that project that gives you peace as someone who wants to build, live with your family. Amani is also that project that gives you peace if you want to flip. Yeah, we also have an option for the off-plan. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, off-plan apartment units. But then one interesting thing, why this all sums up to be an excellent opportunity. And if you ask me, I will tell you Amani is a gold mine. It's a gold mine. You know why? If you've heard, and even if you haven't heard, after you hear this now, Google Abuja City Walk or City Walk Abuja. You will realize that it's a mega project in the city of Abuja that is going to take about 250 hectares with investors from the Middle East coming to invest billions of dollars. And that project will witness the construction of the tallest building in Africa.
Wow.
The tallest building in Africa. You know what that means? Well, let me tell you how close that project is to Amani. 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
So what it means that if you live in Amani Envoy, in Charity, our project, you can see the tallest building in Africa. It will be your background for your Instagram reels. It will be your background for your Instagram reels. And do you know what that also means? It also means that there is what you call in business, in politics, there's what you call the bushfire effects or the bandwagon effects. It means that immediately that project starts, every other place around that project would experience exponential value increase. Exponential. Just the same way Dubai, you can't compare Dubai, certain places with Dubai, with some other places around the world because there is concentration of investment in Dubai, and that has impacted on the value of everything around. So the presence or the development of the Abuja City Walk automatically adds exponential value to Amani Envoy. So if you're listening to this, it means that the prayers you've been praying, you've gotten answers to it.
Wow. So this is actually becoming more interesting. Yeah. So what I would want to ask, you mentioned about FCDA C of O. And like you also said that this investment, Omec, Amani Envoy, is both for first-time buyers and all of that. So for an average person that wants to buy land for the first time, so what does it mean to him, FCDA C of O? Because they may not really know. So how can you explain to an average man what an FCDA C of O means that will be able to make him convinced? Because some of these people, they are afraid, they are scared. So how can you be able to convince an average man in terms of telling the person what FCDA C of O actually means so that he can be able to cough out some money and invest in this property?
Okay, so let me just say this, and I say it with all sense of responsibility. And this may be instructive too in the real estate space. What actually owns that land, the ownership of that land, is on the title. It is who owns the title that now owns the land. Do you understand? So the land is owned by the title. But if I own that title document, it means I own the land. So C of O in FCT, in Lagos, for example, it is the governor's consent. That's like the highest. But in Abuja, it is the C of O. C of O means Certificate of Occupancy. It is the highest title document that a land can have. So when you have C of O, you have confidence that there is no any other layer of title documents that you need So there's hardly going to be any complication. Hardly going to be any complication. So for a first-time buyer, I believe for a second-time buyer, a serial investor, you may already have knowledge of all this.
Yeah.
But for a first-time buyer, if you hear C of O, and you can go and visit the site or you can see the site, you know that the topography is good for you, then by all means, embrace it. The only thing you may consider is when you hear C of O, you may now want to know the topography. If it's a flat land, if it's a hilly place, but all those things are variables. Variables in the sense that some people may be looking for place close to water, some may be looking for hilltops, some may be looking for flat land. So those are variables. Those are preferences that are determined by individuals. So C of O, Certificate of Occupancy, is that title document acceptable in the FCT that gives you peace of mind as an investor. So if you have a C of O document like what Amani Envoy has, then you know that tomorrow the authorities will not come and begin to question you as to the ownership of your property.
Powerful. So, in real estate, right, people tend to have little knowledge about something and they tend to judge it. Why I'm saying this is because of the pre-sale. Anytime a real estate project is coming or they're about to launch, they start with pre-sale. Every real estate company, or most real estate companies that I've seen, they start with pre-sale. But people don't really know why they start with pre-sale. And some people say they are just trying to deceive people. What would you say about pre-sale? That's question number one. And the other question is, give us a little bit of insight into the Amani Envoy project, the plots that are available, and what kind of structures are people expecting to get in different plots once they invest in this wonderful project?
Okay, thank you. That's an intelligent question. And I think a lot of people benefit from this question. You know, ignorance is expensive. Ignorance is expensive. And information is money. Information is money. Anybody who has a reservation, a scare about pre-sale, it is just rooted in some level of ignorance. You understand? Pre-sale gives you, just like off-plan. You know, pre-sale in quotes usually is applied to land, site and service, while off-plan is applied to buildings. But it's the same thing. It's just early birds. It's just early birds. So buying into a project during pre-sale gives you early bird opportunity. And it gives you lowest entry opportunity. Now, in the economic space in Nigeria now, and perhaps globally, if you pay attention, you're hearing about the Dangote refinery and the trying to go public, listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange and some other foreign exchanges around the world. But you see, there was something that was very interesting and that trended just recently. It's a private placement. And if you notice, the real billionaires were more interested in the private placement than the public offers.
True.
Because the amount or the price that you key in or you invest at private placement may be half of what you buy at public offer. So pre-sale gives you that advantage in the real estate space, where you buy at almost cost price.
Oh, okay.
You know, in other kinds of business, there's something called clearance sales.
Yes.
Recently, we've had something within our e-commerce where you have Black Friday, clearance sale. Yeah. So pre-sale for real estate investment or investors, developers, is that period, usually a short period, 10 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or for some reason, 1 month, depending on the magnitude and the size of the project, where the developer opens up the project at the early stage and allows for designing investors, people who have knowledge of the sector, people who want to take advantage of early investment, early opportunity to lock in. You understand? For the developer, it's a strategy. It's a strategy. Could be a strategy to raise funds, to move into actual ground development.
Yeah.
It could also be a strategy to anything. It could just be a strategy to keep the project moving. Yeah. But for the investor, it benefits the investor more than the developer. Actually, it benefits the investor. But then for a developer, or for an investor rather, it's the best time. As long as you can do your due diligence, ensure that the project has a good title, ensure that it's in a good location, like this emerging locations, then you can also ensure that the company that is offering it, the developer, is credible, trustworthy. If you've ticked these boxes, the rest is your threshold for risk. Is your threshold for risk. How much are you willing to invest? Are you willing to take advantage? So pre-sale period is a period where people what? Take advantage.
That's like buying the value first before it even appreciates.
Because you already know the value. It's just like this now. Look at this map again. All these places now technically are on pre-sale. If you go by my logic and my explanation, all this phase 4 now that are like emerging places are technically on pre-sale. Because in 5 years' time for at district level, in 5 years' time, these prices you buy today will be 10 times, 5 times, 3 times, 20 times, as the case may be. As the case may be. So emerging places now, this including Charity, including Omec Envoy, is on pre-sale. It's on pre-sale. So discerning investors, whether newcomers in the real estate investment space or even serial investors already know this. But discerning should take advantage of this opportunity. Then for our project, Omec Amani Envoy, we've made it also good enough to accommodate different classes and categories of people. So if you're a young family, you want to buy where you will live, we'll have the 150 square meters, which can give you a comfortable 3-bedroom terrace duplex. You can also have or invest in a 180 square meters, which will give you the 4-bedroom terrace duplex. Then if you want some more space for yourself, you can key into the 250 square meters, which will give you a 4-bedroom with an attached BQ, semi-detached duplex. Then for those who want more space, compound space, you have the 450 standalone, right? The 450 standalone, which will give you a 5-bedroom standalone duplex. And of course, we have the 600 square meters, which will give you a villa, a 5-bedroom villa. You can have a swimming pool, you have enough land space for yourself. But then there are also those who may not want to live there or even buy land. They want to buy off plan because they don't have the time. Maybe they're abroad. And this opportunity is good for friends in the diaspora, our brothers and our sisters in the diaspora. So you can key into the off-plan projects. First, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom apartments.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Then the estate also allows for peaceful communal living. So we have recreational areas, we have green areas, eco-friendly environments. That's what we're creating. And of course, we have the commercial spaces for supermarkets, shops, and all that.
So you're saying in this project, there's also, after the plots opportunity, there's also an opportunity for you to also invest in off-plan apartments. That's the 1, the 2, and the 3 bedrooms.
Exactly.
Oh, perfect.
Wow. So you've been talking about pre-sale. Can we get to know the prices for this pre-sale? Then also, is there a payment plan for this pre-sale? And if there is, what are the payment plans? And also, this pre-sale that you are talking about, what's the duration? Can we get to know more in terms of money value when it comes to this pre-sale for this Amani Envoy property?
You asked me almost 4 questions in one. I'll do my best to attend all of them. The first one are the prices. So for the 150 square meters, it starts from 6 million naira. You have the 180, 7.2 million, and it progresses. I think the information provided either in the caption or below. Yeah, so in terms of payment plan, yes, we allow it easy for young investors to come in. Yeah, so that those who don't have all the resources, they can still lock in, close in something. So yes, we have a 3 months payment plan. We have the 6 month payment plan. And we also have those who want to pay outrightly. So depending on your payment plan, there are some allowances that they're given to you. Yeah, so that's the thing. What is it you asking?
Yeah, the prices, and you've actually answered the questions. Okay, so I also want to ask regarding to this. Aside buying the land, aside paying for the land for any of the plot sizes, are there other payments that the person is going to, any investor or anybody coming in to buy, aside just paying for the land? Are there any other payments that the person will incur?
Sure, there are. There are, because we're building a community. When you pay for the land, you acquire the land, right? But then that's the power of leverage. If you were to buy your own land outside an estate, you have to go and process of course, engage an architectural firm to begin to design your structure for you. After that, you now have to singularly take your design to development control to vet it and approve it. That's going to take you a lot. But if you are investing in an estate project like the one we offer, you leverage, because we're going to do that for you. And that comes with a little fee, a fraction of what you would have paid. So apart from the cost of the land, there is also the cost of legal documents, which is your deed of assignment and your power of attorney. Then you now have infrastructure fee. Infrastructure fee is what allows the developer to get your approvals, give you your design, because when you're taking ownership or you're taking possession of your plot, you'll be handed over a design for that plot that you bought. You've been handed over that. The infrastructure will also be provided for you. The roads, security, drainage system, power, and everything you need to have a peaceful dwelling in that estate, or to enable your investment appreciate. So you have a few of such.
Okay. Final question. When should we expect the features and the amenities you promise for the Omec Amani? When should we expect them to be ready? And most times developers make promises for amenities and they don't deliver. So when is the date? When should we expect it to be habitable or available? And also, I'll call it matters arising, that some locations in Abuja are getting flooded, like Utako, Katampe, yesterday and Saturday. Some parts of them were flooded. What provisions are you making for it, for water and for nature? Because most developers do not make provision for nature. They would buy a hill, tear it down, and would build concrete. But with the vision of Amani, I know that something different is coming, but let's hear from the horse's mouth.
So I'm the horse now. Okay, so interesting. I'll start from the last question. I hope I remember the first question.
Oh, yes, again.
Okay, good. So good thing is that if you've been to Amani, you realize that it's in the flat land. Then 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, there was flood in Abuja. I wish you visited Amani that day. You realize that there is no flood there. So, and that is why planning is important. City planning is important. As a developer, within the project, we can plan for that by having modern drainage system available. So that within the project, within the estate, you don't have floods. Because rain will fall everywhere. You only find flood where some of the outlets for the water have been blocked. So within the project, we're going to ensure that we have modern drainage system, which is part of the infrastructure that we'll be providing to ensure that when it rains, you can, after the rain is down or done, you can come out of your 5-bedroom villa, step into your car and drive out peacefully, because Amani means peace. Then the next question you asked.
What's the duration? When should we expect the amenities of the estate to be ready?
Okay, so that question is two-sided because it is infrastructure fee that developers use to provide infrastructure. So that when it's a community, a development of that nature involves both the commitment of the subscribers, the occupants, or the landlords, the new landlords, as well as the developer. But I told you earlier that by this time next year, if you want to live in your own house in Amani Envoy, you will live in your own house in Amani Envoy. However, the progress and the completion will be progressive. Progressive in the sense that as we move, we carry our subscribers, we carry our clients along. Yeah, I've mentioned it. We already have the design. Everything is ready. So we will keep developing in phases. We'll put those things that are priority. Development never stops because after development, maintenance continues. An estate that is 100% developed today, that is not well maintained, will still have infrastructure issues and challenges, which includes flood, lighting issues, security issues. Those things come with maintenance and sustainability. So Amani is a living community. It's a living estate. It's a living environment. And so we're not just developing to hands off. We're developing to stay put so that our clients, our subscribers, our residents, our landowners, property owners will continue to enjoy peace. And even investors that may not want to live there, their investment also will continue to enjoy that care that it deserves.
So, lastly, before we let you go, sir, because we know a man of your class, you're sacrificing so much to be here with us. So I just want to ask this question. When is the project launching and what is the size of this project? That's it.
So we're launching on the 22nd of August, 2026. And I want to use this opportunity to invite everyone. If you get this video before that day, let this be an invite to you. I'm specially and particularly inviting you to the launch of Amani Envoy. Yeah, so see you on Saturday. But if you see this after 22nd of August 2026, then I'm inviting you to invest in the project. So whichever way, you are invited.
Okay. So if someone is watching this right now and the person is saying, I will invest when I have money, what will you tell them?
Of course, the truth is this. There will always be an opportunity, even in 100 years' time. But the question is, will you be alive in 100 years? That's the question. Every structure you see today, every structure was an idea of somebody, an investment by somebody or an entity. So investment is not a comfort activity. It's an intentional and a strategic activity. Nobody invests from comfort. You enjoy from comfort. Do you understand? Yes. So nobody invests from a position of comfort when I have it. No.
That's
You plan, you take a step, you engage, you inquire, and you make a move. And that is why we make it easy for both those who have everything and those who don't even have everything. If you have a particular percentage, a fraction, you can key in. You can key in. That money is not going to stay there. Before you know it, billions will take it.
yeah.
So I will invest when I have money. You may never have money. You understand? So start from what you have, where you are, and invest in what you can.
All right.
Invest in what you can. And Amani Envoy gives you that opportunity. So call us. If you don't have money, call us. We'll encourage you to go and make more money. But interesting, let me give you one secret that people don't know. Do you know you don't need money to invest?
What do you need?
Oh, interesting. Interesting. If you decide to position yourself where the money flows, where the river flows, that's the bank of the river, you will have some to fetch for yourself.
You're speaking in parables.
Explain.
Okay, now
Expatiate.
you are looking at this opportunity, and perhaps you just checked your bank account, and unfortunately, you don't even have enough for the rest of the month, and you say, oh, this opportunity is not for me. Maybe that's the situation for the person waiting to have the money. But the question you should ask yourself is, who is this opportunity for? Who can invest in it now? And how can I position myself? You know, that's one thing with having a map. You should also have your strategic map. How can you position yourself? There is a segment in the real estate value chain that is occupied by people we call realtors or agents. Are the agents the one investing?
No.
No.
Are they the ones selling? Are they making money?
Yes.
Have you not heard stories that agents who have sold eventually end up buying, even from the same project? So find a way to plug yourself where the money is flowing. And you don't have to transition or transform yourself from your current work. You can just refer this opportunity. You can just tell somebody, share this good news with somebody, and you never can tell. You can close a deal and you get your percentage, and that percentage is now enough for you as a seed to invest. Or, let me not use the word seed, but it's not enough for you as a sum to invest. So, by all means, I've just given you the master strategy of not just looking at your account and wishing you could, but looking for opportunities, looking around and asking yourself, how can I plug in?
Thank you, sir, for your guidance, the information, and all the knowledge you've poured on this session. And that brings us to the end of this segment.
Before we end the segment, I want to introduce something. You know, in the African, or maybe if I narrow it down to the Nigerian society, when you knock on a door, some people will say, peace be unto this home. And now I want to say, instead of peace,
Amani.
Amani unto you.
Amani be unto you. So let's say it together.
Amani be unto you.
So viewers out there, we say
Amani be unto you.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Amani unto you. And this is The Real Estate Show. Thanks for watching.